Listen, guys, I teach all of this because I've been where you are. You want it so badly. You think about it constantly, thinking about it, what you need to do to get it, what you need to clear, what you need to be, what you need to, all of these things. Trying so hard to stay positive, to believe, to live in the end. But if you're being honest, you can still feel that little sense of attachment, that little sense of resistance, that sense of needing to see an outcome inside of you, despite all of your efforts. In this video, I'm breaking down why detaching is the only way to get what you want, what detachment actually means, what it doesn't mean, and most importantly, because I see this being the most misunderstood piece, how to shift from anxious manifesting into what we call detachment, this calm, magnetic, in the driver's seat type of creation. And if you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I teach manifestation the Neville Goddard way, helping you to peel back the false layers of programming, embody your true power, and manifest the life you desire from a place of peace and calm and confident knowing that it's already done. Whatever you desire, it's already done. Let's be real. Attachment, the sense of attachment and needing feels awful, and you're not meant to feel awful about your desires. It's a restless energy, a subtle tension in your chest, that obsession with checking the mirror of 3D reality for proof of movement or proof that anything is working. I see it a lot with my clients that they think attachment means that they really care, they really want this, they have a desire about, they really care about the desire and they want the desire. But energetically, it's actually the opposite of that. Attachment means you've made your desire the source of your emotional stability. In other words, the source of your happiness, your fulfillment, your contentment. And the moment you do that, you step out of your power and you're stepping into lack. You're saying to the universe, I'm not whole, I'm not enough. Out there, something out there is, going to complete me and make me fulfilled, right? Neville said to desire something is to confess you do not possess it. That's what attachment is, an unconscious confession of I don't have it yet, and the sense of needing it to fulfill something within you. Because your 3D world can only mirror your internal state. It keeps reflecting that sense of not having. So let's clear up the biggest misconception about detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean that you get rid of your desire. Not at all. You're not meant to get rid of your desires. You're not detaching from the desire itself. You're detaching from the worry that it won't happen. The lack. You're detaching from the doubts around your desire. Whatever concepts you hold within you that say, that's not going to happen, that's what you detach from. That's what you let go of. And this is so important to understand. Let me repeat it just so that we're clear before I move on to the next point. You never have to get rid of your desire. You never have to pretend you don't want it. This is how people get detachment wrong. When they try to go right for detachment, they try to put it out of their mind. You're not meant to do that. The desire is coming up again and again and again to show you the resistance that you hold. And why are you being shown the resistance you hold? So that you can get rid of it. You never have to get rid of the desire. You get rid of the resistance, the doubt, the concepts that you hold that say you don't get to have that. So important, you guys. So detachment means you stop needing and you stop needing to see the proof. You stop needing the thing to fulfill you and you stop needing the proof to believe that it's possible. Remember, the proof is always inside of you first. right? So that knowing, that deep sense of knowing happens within you, and then you'll see the evidence of that knowing outside of you. Detachment isn't emotional numbness either. It's not pretending to no longer care or no longer want. This is why so many people struggle to detach, because they misunderstand what it truly is. What it truly is, it's energetic neutrality. It's the inner knowing that what you desire is already yours. It's already done. Creation is finished, right? So remember, you're not creating anything new. Even if it's not visible to you, still doesn't mean that you're creating it. Creation is finished. You're just selecting it, and then you believe that it's already yours. That's it. When you're truly in this state of it's done and no lack, no doubt is present, detachment is the natural byproduct of being in that state of certainty, right? So again, detachment isn't something I'm going to go and detach now. I'm going to try to detach. No, detachment is a byproduct of you getting rid of the resistance. When you get rid of the resistance and you drop into that knowing that it's already done, it's already yours, you will naturally detach, and you are truly detached. You will detach in the right way because there's no lack. You already have it. So what you have already, you naturally detach from. So you can want something, you can love something, you can appreciate something, but you're not needing it for your wholeness or even to prove that you're manifesting. And that's a big one, you guys. That's a big one. Let me know in the comments below if you want a separate video. I don't even want to go into this right now because I could just go on and on and on. I don't want this video to be too long. So leave me a comment if you want to see a video dedicated just to that, because we have to stop thinking that our manifestation is proving that we're manifesting. We have to stop doing that. So you're not begging it. You're not begging to prove your worth, right? You're not begging to the universe, please show me the evidence and then I'll believe. No, you're not checking if it's working. You're standing in your power and your knowing of who you are, and that your assumption is already fact. The outer world is simply catching up to your assumption, to your decision. That's the essence of Neville's teachings. The feeling of the wish fulfilled must dominate all other feelings, he has said. So this feeling of wish fulfilled must be stronger within you than any sense of waiting or feeling it's not here yet or anything else. And this is where your work is. This is the work that you focus on. So here's why detachment is so powerful. When you're attached, your energy is split. Part of you believes it's possible, but another part is still grasping, doubting, checking, hoping. So you're split. You're wanting something, but you're not sure. You're sort of more in doubt. This is what keeps you attached, right? And it's that grasping that tends to become more dominant as time goes on because you were never sure to begin with. So as more time goes on, what gets bigger? Most likely it's going to be your doubt if you didn't integrate your, foundation, as I talk about all the time. So it sort of feeds on itself. And this is happening because of the lack of foundation. As I just said, this is why I teach my clients first and foremost how to integrate the creator belief system. We have to start there. That's what you build the rest on. It's like building a house. You don't start with the roof. You don't start with just visualizing. You have to first know who you are, and you have to integrate who you are, because this is the proper foundation that everything else is built on. Just like the house analogy. Without this foundation, it's like pushing and pulling on the same door. When you have this foundation firmly in place, you will stop grasping and you will relax into this detached state of it's already done. You return to a more coherent and non-resistant state within yourself, which is highly magnetic and highly powerful, right? We split ourselves between, trying and doubting, and there's not a lot of power in that. Your power is leaking out. Your energy becomes more pure, it becomes more unified, it becomes more magnetic, because the false conclusion that so many fall into is that it takes time, when really all it takes is alignment. Alignment with what? Alignment with your desires. That's when reality can finally deliver. When you're aligned with what? With your desire. Because you're no longer blocking it with tension, with doubt, with worry. And again, remember what Neville said. The mere passing of time does not bring about your desires. It's a commitment to the assumption that brings them into your experience. I'm paraphrasing here. But if you want to know the quote, it's something about the mere passing of time. It's not the passing of time that brings things about. It's a change in your assumption, right? So we have to remember that, because I see a lot of people thinking that, like, well, if I just wait long enough, then it has to show up. So let's take an example, something I see all the time with my clients, and with one of my more recent clients specifically. She was manifesting communication with her specific person after some time of no communication. She visualized daily, affirmed perfectly, but nothing really changed at all in her outer reality. Every time her phone buzzed, her body would tense up and she would think immediately, is this it? Is it happening? She was still emotionally tied to, it happening out there. Her internal state was missing, right? So she was still attached to seeing it happen out there, and she was looking for proof. She felt that every time her phone would buzz. So when we worked together, I had her stop focusing on her specific person entirely and start focusing on first being the operant power, and then accepting her desired reality of being in, communication, being valued enough to be communicated with. Whatever it was for her specifically, we focused on that, aligning her inner state of being to already having it, to accepting it as already done. So in this acceptance, to just watch for any remaining resistance within her, like not being chosen, not being enough. And anytime she felt this resistance come up, that was her work. That's what she was working on. It was the beliefs about herself. And so she practiced just simply being that version in herself, in her day-to-day life. She would go through her life already having it, already feeling as if it's done, it's already here. And within 2 weeks of her really getting into this practice, really sort of being super consistent and nailing it, she got that communication, right? And it's funny because when she received it, it wasn't this big, like, shock to her system, this out of the ordinary event. To her, it felt more like, of course this is showing up now, because everything she was doing, she already had been practicing that feeling within. She was already, feeling like she had it. So when it showed up, she was so closely in alignment with having it already that it was just normal. There wasn't this big gap. And this is so key to understand. If you feel a gap between where you are and if your manifestation was here, you have to do the work to close that gap. So because her energy had shifted from lack to already having it to fulfillment, there was no more tension, and she was naturally detached from the outcome. And of course, that's when everything shifted. You see, detachment isn't something you go straight to, like I've said already in this video, but it bears repeating. You can't just decide to detach. You can't make detachment your goal. It's a natural byproduct. If you want to do detachment right, stop trying to detach and do the work that allows you to naturally detach. It just happens. You didn't ever try. You did the work, and then detachment was a natural byproduct of doing the work, right? So, and that's exactly what my client was doing. And this isn't how most people try to detach. I don't know if, what's being taught out there about detachment, but that's not how I teach it. And that's not how I've also done it myself. And of course, seen results. So, and I've experienced profound, manifestations from detaching. So, and that's, again, it was a byproduct of integrating the belief of who I am and that my desire was already done. Then detachment was effortless. And when detachment feels effortless, your manifestation is going to speed its way into your reality. So let's talk about some steps to embody detachment in your daily life. Step number 1, catch the energy of needing, right? So you have to notice when you're in this state of being attached. That's step number 1. We can't change what we're not aware of. So if you find yourself thinking about when or how it will happen, that's attachment. So you want to pause, and that's your cue that your energy is reaching out instead of already feeling complete within. So remember your role as the creator of your reality and bring it back to yourself. Step number 2, shift to already having it, right? Once you remembered your role in step number 1, that you're the creator, step number 2 is to remember that creation is finished, and remember that your desires are yours. They are literally meant for you to experience. So you can ask yourself, if I already had it, how would I feel right now? What would the feeling be like, as Neville, puts it? If you feel calm, if you feel relaxed, if you feel confident, that's perfect. That's how you would feel. It's not this wild, ecstatic feeling. It's this calm, like almost feeling of relief is what you're going for. Work on just achieving this feeling, not missing, not longing or lacking, but embracing and embodying this feeling of it's already done, which is a subtle, like fulfilled feeling. Step number 3, release your attachment to time. When you detach, time stops mattering, because as I teach, time is doubt. If you haven't heard me say that before, time is doubt. It's disguised as like, a real issue, but really it's just you doubting your manifestation. It's doubt disguised as the concern for time. You stop counting days because it's inevitable when you're detached, right? When you're in the right state, you stop counting. So, and of course, ironically, paradoxically, that's when things happen really fast. You collapse time by no longer focusing on time and by no longer doubting your manifestations. Likewise, you expand time by focusing on time. It's just like everything else. What you focus on expands and becomes more. Time is no different. So at its core, detachment is just another word for knowing. It says, I trust myself as the creator. I don't need proof. My assumption is already done. This is what detachment really feels like. When you embody that knowing, you don't chase, you don't check 3D, you simply accept it as already done, and detachment is a natural byproduct of that. And from that place, everything flows to you effortlessly. You become the calm center of your universe, as you're meant to be, as you already are, and life rearranges itself to match your inner state of being. So if you've been holding on too tightly, trying to push, trying to pull, hoping, wishing, longing, let this be your permission slip to stop. You don't need to force what is already yours. You just need to remember who's creating here. And if you're ready to embody this level of deep trust, to stop the anxious manifesting cycles and finally manifest from calm, magnetic confidence, then I invite you into my 1-month transformative coaching program. This is where we go deep. We go deep in this transformative month into the subconscious blueprint that keeps you attached. It keeps you in fear of loss, the need for control and overthinking. And we dissolve all of that from the root. You'll leave with a new self-concept, a new profound emotional peace, and the ability to manifest effortlessly as you're meant to be doing. You can find all the information down in the description and in the pinned comment. And I'm also offering for a limited time a free consultation with me. So if you're ready, but maybe you have some questions about scheduling or about the details of the program, go ahead and book that call now. I won't be able to offer it forever, but I am still offering it for a limited time. So go ahead and book that call. And thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.